Georgia beat the brakes off of TCU, 65-7 the final score. Dave Hellman, you're an SEC guy. I'm a Big 12 guy. What did you make of the matchup?
Okay, let's not do the conference thing. Because, SEC fans, I don't want to hear Ole Miss fans or Arkansas fans no. Georgia's on a different planet. And, people act like recruiting rankings are overblown. No, they're not. This is what happens when you have 5 years worth of top 5 classes. Yeah, I looked this up. Georgia's average class ranking, how well your class stacks up compared to everybody else, the average ranking over the last 5 years, 2. You want to know what TCU's is?
What's that?
36. When you got 4 and 5 stars at every position going against 2 and 3 stars, this has the potential to happen.
Now, Georgia lost 5 defensive players in the first round last year and still held TCU, Max Duggan, Heisman Trophy finalist.
5 first-round picks in a couple months. They're going to do it again.
What was the most impressive part of the game?
I've never seen a team with such an explosive offense do it with their tight ends. Georgia has 3 tight ends that are going to play on Sunday. Brock Bowers had 150 yards, and they pulled him in the third quarter. Usually you're talking about receivers, running backs, quarterbacks. This team's they're no, we got 3 tight ends that are going to be moving people around in the NFL, and they're going to run right over you.
It was dominant. Kirby Smart, 2 national titles in his first 7 seasons at Georgia. Georgia now taking over all of college football. They handled their business so much so that late in the game, they was out there snacking. And I don't mean snacking on the field. I mean literally eating wings. Eating wings on the sideline. Shady, I need you to check this out, big dog. I need you to check this out. Georgia out here sideline eating wings during the course of the game.
Oh,
wow. What you make of this, big dog?
Wow, I've never seen that like that before. That's crazy.
Oh.
You all right?
Yeah, I am. I'm good. It's the turf. It's the turf.
The turf like TCU out there.
I am. You're right.
Transitioning to the NFL, Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy trying to figure out his future. Well, his future right now, Cowboys playoff game in Tampa. Last time they were in Tampa, starting off last season, they lost. But this time they're hoping for a different fate. Jerry Jones was asked if a wild card loss to the Bucs Monday night could impact Mike McCarthy's status and said no, adding, quote, "I have complete confidence in this coaching staff," close quote. Dave Hellman, coming directly back to you. You covered the Dallas Cowboys for 10 years. You do know more than anybody about these Cowboys on television. Mike McCarthy, should his job be on the line Monday?
It probably shouldn't be, but I think it has the potential to be. I don't think you can say yes or no in a vacuum. I mean, the Cowboys are coming off a 12-5 season. They went 12-5 and won the division last year. Mike McCarthy was even competitive in 2020 when Dak Prescott was out for most of the year. They were eligible for the playoffs until the last weekend of the year that year. Mike McCarthy, objectively, has done a really good job, and I would say an underrated job. But if they lose on Monday night, that's 2 12-5 seasons down the drain without even a playoff win to show for it. Not one. And it would be the second time they've lost to a team that on paper they should have beaten. They were home against the Niners. The Niners are a better team than the Bucs this year, obviously, but they were home against the Niners, and now a Bucs team that doesn't have a winning record. That's not going to sit well. And I've followed Jerry Jones closely enough over the years. Jerry Jones is an eternal optimist. It's not even the glass isn't half full. The glass is full. The glass is full until it's not. So Jerry Jones, in his heart of hearts, even with what they did in Washington on Sunday, Jerry Jones doesn't believe they're going to lose this game. And so that's, I think, why he can say, no, of course his job's not in jeopardy. If they play poorly and lose this game, he's going to be mad. He's going to be really, really mad. It was dark times in Dallas last January when they lost that game. Everybody was walking on eggshells. Jerry wouldn't commit to Mike's future. Jerry was talking about how Sean Payton and Dan Quinn would make great coaches of the Dallas Cowboys. It was dicey. And that was after one playoff loss. They go 0 again. You can say whatever you want right now, but it's going to be a topic of conversation. Do I think that's fair to Mike McCarthy? Not really. I just think it's the reality.
But, Joy, what you say about life being fair?
Fair is for Ferris wheels and fried Oreos. Life is not fair. It's not fair. I know there's some concept out there. People believe that it is, but it's not. Here's the thing about Mike McCarthy. He's done an excellent job.
He really has.
If your goal is to be competitive and make it to the playoffs, he's done an excellent job. But for most teams, that's an excellent job.
They're not most teams.
That's the Dallas Cowboys, and for some reason, people think the Dallas Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders every year. I don't know why, but they do. And they certainly have the talent to be Super Bowl contenders. So that's why it's even a possibility. Because if this was anyone else, why would we even be talking about this? We would not be talking about this if it was any other team not named the Cowboys. Who's a coach who's done a better job this year than Mike McCarthy?
There are a few.
Nick Sirianni.
It's a short list.
Kyle Shanahan.
Andy Reid,
obviously. Sean McDermott. And
Dayball,
but they don't have a better record than the Cowboys.
Yeah, but I mean, every year they
With
lost.
what he
every
has,
year.
with what he has,
That's what he got
sure.
there.
And he'll probably win Coach of the Year, and Dable's done an amazing job. I'm saying Mike McCarthy has
done a great
better
job.
For what they,
And he's
for
done
what they
a
were
great
working
job.
with, it's
Done a great job.
And most importantly, what to me makes Mike McCarthy unfireable is they didn't have Dak Prescott for 5 games this season and went 4-1.
Unfireable.
Unfireable.
So he's good.
If you want a good, solid culture, if you want to be able to coach the entire team, you didn't have your starting quarterback for 5 games. You went 4-1. Look at the teams that didn't have their starting quarterback this year for a few games.
Struggling.
The Dolphins.
Except the Niners, but everybody else
Eagles.
struggling.
And I said Kyle Shanahan has done a better job.
Eagles.
The
Yeah,
Eagles
struggling.
didn't look great.
Didn't look good at all.
No.
We can go on and on. So the fact that Mike McCarthy was able to do that, he gets credit for that.
You're right.
Because
You're right.
Dak doesn't get credit for that. He wasn't there.
Right.
So to me, he's done an excellent job this year. Now, again, if they lose in the playoffs to a team that they should beat, it's probably off the table.
Yep.
But I don't know. I really don't see how you fire Mike McCarthy.
I don't think Mike McCarthy should get fired 2-5. I don't think he should Dave Hellman. I don't think he should Joy Taylor. But if they lose, I have a feeling he would. And you got to think about it like this, Cowboys fans. You're likely not going to retain Kellen Moore past this season. Dave Hellman, correct me if I am wrong. It'd be hard-pressed to retain Kellen Moore. Hard-pressed.
It would be surprising.
Be surprising to retain Kellen Moore. So now you got to ask yourself this question. You going to let Kellen Moore walk to another team and keep Mike McCarthy? But who in the world is Mike McCarthy in Dallas without Kellen Moore? McCarthy don't call no plays. To my knowledge, McCarthy don't design the plays. But who is Kellen Moore without Mike McCarthy? Before McCarthy even showed up, 2019, Dave Hellman, you know this, we were in the Cowboys locker room. The Cowboys had the #1 offense in 2019 without McCarthy. So if you have a decision to make, and Jerry Jones will, and Mike McCarthy loses, and you can either let Kellen Moore walk out the door, or you can let Mike McCarthy walk out the door. You either let the 33-year-old quarterback walk out the door that you didn't draft, but that you acquired, or you let Mike McCarthy, the old dude, walk out the door. I think Jerry Jones is going to have a decision to make, and I don't think he's going to choose McCarthy. I think he'll choose Kellen Moore. If McCarthy loses, I don't think he's safe.
But who to say that Kellen Moore won't go out there and
dip either way?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because
That's
he's
fair.
hot right now. People want him.
Very hot.
Right, he's doing a lot with the quarterback, and I won't get into that.
Is McCarthy safe?
I think he's safe. Yeah, he's safe. Listen, I watched Jason Garrett for 10, 12 years, whatever long, 10 years with the Cowboys.
About 10 years.
Yeah.
Do nothing, really, right? For three playoff appearances, 3 playoff wins in 10 years. And he stayed there. Every year they keep bringing him back. And I think he's did a way worse job
Yeah,
than McCarthy.
objectively, yeah.
So come on, and then this is my thing about the Cowboys. I get it. They're the most talked about team in football. But McCarthy's done a good job. Joe, you talked about having a backup quarterback. It's hard to win games with a backup quarterback.
Did.
Last year, they weren't disciplined at all. I mean, flag, offsides, holding, everything. They cleaned everything up. I love to see a coach get better and better with his team. This year, they're ranked like 10th in penalties. They've got better with that part. Defense, offense. He's did a great job of managing his team. And I would hate to see, and I'm an Eagle guy. For me to say this, I would hate to see a franchise like the Cowboys keep changing the head coach. Think about that for a second. Your head coach gets fired. Boom. This is going to be going in year 4 if he returns?
Yep.
So in 3 years, you fire your coach. This is not the Texans. It's not the Jaguars. This is the Cowboys, America's team, so they say. So now my Dak Prescott, who I think is, well, he's their franchise quarterback. You got to get a whole new coach. Got the thing with Zeke. Got the thing with Pollard. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Whatever it is. So you got a whole new change. That franchise don't need to go through that. They're a respectable franchise. Don't do that.
And I think Mike McCarthy deserves a lot of credit. Bringing up Garrett is fascinating because post-Bill Parcells, which is 15 years ago at this point, this has been a roller coaster because the Cowboys haven't been able to sustain success. They haven't been to the playoffs in back-to-back years. This is the first time since the mid-2000s. It's the first time they've had consecutive 12-win seasons since they were actually winning Super Bowls, if you can believe that. Mike McCarthy deserves a hell of a lot of credit. But what I'm fascinated by, and it's so fitting that they're playing Tampa Bay, because they've played Tampa Bay twice during McCarthy's tenure.
You know that record.
They lost them both. That's fair, but One game was amazing. Season opener, 2021. Dak balled. Dak threw for 350, led him down the field for a field goal, and Tom Brady did Tom Brady things. Tom Brady led the Bucs down the field. They won the game with seconds to play. It was